Hello and welcome to Chris VV Journey. Man, it's been a long time, 4 months, or at least 3 months until when I did my last video. A few things have changed. First of all, of course, I got some new glasses, as you can see and might notice right away. And of course, my environment and the way I'm doing these videos. So, yeah, I don't have access to my studio where I usually record my videos, where's my computer. So I do this on my tablet because we have a Ukrainian family as our guests, and for the time being, they occupy the space I usually work in. So that means at some point I will get all my studio back, and we will have regular imagery like you're used to, and I guess better sound because I try to get my mic connected to this tablet, which basically works but not good enough. So we stay with that. So what I wanted to talk about, Vivi. So I decided at one point I would just continue doing the German channel because I didn't have time to run two channels, the German one and the US one. And I was well connected with the German community. So I stayed with that one. Recently, I watched a live stream from My Collectibles and Sleeping Comics, and that was so cool. And I felt like, I kind of want to do English videos again. Like, I don't know. That's at this point there's a kind of community there that's really interesting. So I'm back with that one. I hope it's fine to do these videos like this for the time being until I have my studio back. And there's some news on the DCOn that has been dropped, and I wanted to talk with you guys about that. So here's a video by David Younes. This video is done by VV Price Prediction. It's one of my YouTube colleagues. Cool dude. Check out his channel and yeah, subscribe. I guess I'm not subscribed here because this is another that's another channel I'm using. I have 4 YouTube channels and I own the wrong one. That's why it doesn't say I'm subscribed. Also, the video itself is from Captain Vivi. Subscribe to that guy also. He's a German YouTuber, but yeah, he's like daily on it. Super great. Really nice dude. See that you subscribe with him too. So let's go into all the details. What do we have? So this one here is super interesting, right? Let's hear what they say.
But we are going to be bringing out other features. You guys know about the one-of-one program, right? We are thinking, obviously, the whales or the top collectors out there, they're always going to get the one-of-ones. We want it to be more fair to everyone. So we are thinking to bring a cool raffle thing. So the raffle.
So what he's saying basically is like we had the one-of-ones going, and what some people didn't find too great is that Dr. Profit, namely, he took the first one-of-one piece, and then he took the second one-of-one piece, and then we had the 3 artworks by Marvel, which I found super great, and he took one of those. He didn't took all 3, which I'm pretty sure he would have been capable to, but I love the fact that he didn't. So there was room for everyone. But we see Vivi is trying to find out, okay, so that didn't work too well. And now the idea is to maybe go to a raffle system where you put in a specific amount and might get chosen. So he elaborates on that right here.
Be $5, and you could put 5 gems in it, and you could be one of the and you might earn for $5 you might get a $10,000 worth of edition. So we are going to start doing things like that. For us, I just want you guys to know, us is all about being fair, being exposed to all collectors. I'm a collector myself. When I go to a stand, people think, oh, Dave's going to buy it all. No, I only want 3. Yeah.
So there he was joking a little bit, but yeah, that's that's fine to hear. Like the last few drops, the ASM 300 and the AF 15, they weren't too popular with real comic collectors or real pop culture collectors because they were really, yeah, it, it didn't make sense. Like you had the most rare Spider-Man comic, the most wanted, most rare Spider-Man comic, and then you made the 10K edition, which wasn't too nice because at a bigger edition, people still would have loved it, and the price would be going up, etc. But then they took like the most graded comic and they also put it at 10K, and that was for a lot of people that wasn't too great. I myself like hated it. I'm good. I'm good. I have some nice editions, but yeah, I didn't think it was the best idea to go that route, and yeah, I was kind of ranting about it on my German channel. Yes, yes, I was mad. Um, but I didn't think I should do an English video ranting again. So yeah, so much about that. But what I said in my German video was that I thought, okay, so they went the wrong route here and they go like, let's go for the whales, kind of. And what I also said was, okay, so maybe they try. They just try new things and maybe they go back. So as long as we don't have this stay in the community. Like my biggest problem is they had two good comics, and those good comics were at 10K edition sizes and $20. And I thought, okay, is this the way we roll now? Like, will every good comic be a 20 gem comic with just 10K editions? And all the not so good comics, which will go under drop price, those will be $7. So that wouldn't be great. Hearing David say that now makes me think, okay, they won't do that. Like that sounded inclusive again, like they want all the collectors. Because you can't have just whales. That makes no sense. Whales need the small fish to show that they are the whales. If there's no small fish, then it doesn't make sense to be a whale. Nobody cares, right? That's the thing. And that's what it's all about, right? Flexing, kind of. So that's pretty interesting. And I love the idea. I like the idea of a raffle system. I think the one-of-one, the idea was great, but we don't have the amount of people in the app to make that interesting enough. Like, I don't know, there's like 5 one-of-one editions and 3 of them have been sold to the same guy. That's a tough one, right? So I mean, you can't be mad that he got those editions. I think I mean, if you have the gems, you have all the right to, and you are investing into the whole thing. That makes sense. That's pretty great. But I guess the idea to make it more fair is nice. I don't know what I think about the $5 thing. Like if this is a real raffle, like thinking about the artist, as I mentioned on my Twitter, you can follow me on Twitter. Chris is on VEVE. I shared the info there. I asked the artists, are they actually involved in the outcome of the biddings? And they said yes. They get a fair, respectable amount of the percentage of the last bid, or of the highest bid. So they are pretty much in there. That's something I think is really great. So the thing is now, when they do a raffle system, will there be enough income to give enough to the comic book artists that share their original work? So that is the thing that I'm asking myself. But we will see. That's still a pretty great news. And so that was part 1. There's also a few more news. Let me check that out. So the other news was that in September we get 2 special drops. Like one will be new Star Trek vehicles. That is awesome. Like that's what I'm really interested in. I actually own the ultra rare Enterprise with the mint date of the year the show was released. Spent quite a bit on that, but I thought that was a really great investment. I love Star Trek and especially the Next Generation, so that is super great. Can't wait to see which starships we get. I would think maybe shuttles. Maybe it's a Klingon drop with a Klingon bird of prey, Watcher class cruiser. I have no idea, but I'm excited to see it. I'm I mean, interestingly enough, they could do a 8472 species ship. Not as iconic, but would be a great enemy for the Borg cubes you already had. So that would be interesting. I don't know. I guess they could do a 4 or 5 edition drop. I'd love if they don't do the one-on-one size editions like they did with the Enterprise and the Borg Cube. You had a small edition and a big edition. And yeah, that's not too great because you really want to have the big ones. So I would love them to have like 3, 4, maybe 5 ships and they adjust one size. And yeah, and then different ships like Birds of Prey, Warbirds, I don't know, whatever, Krenim, I don't know, like I know all this stuff, and I think it would be great. Maybe they go for another era of Star Trek. Maybe they do the original series now, and which is what I find super interesting is that we had Wrecker doing the Star Trek drop, and I bought one of those ships in the aftermarket, and the prices are going down, and the way they plan it is outright bad. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of Wrecker. I actually exited Wrecker. I guess I will do a video why I went out of Wrecker. But yeah, so they do Star Trek vehicles, which is great. Spaceships. I'm pretty sure it will be spaceships. What else? Yeah, can't wait for that. And love the timing. Love the timing that we see that that Paramount is still involved with VV and we get the real ships. The thing is, they get the real ships. It's a real ships. Like Wrecker, you get like something that looks like Star Trek and it follows some of the design rules, but not all of the design rules to make it a PFP project with different outcomes. And yeah, I'm not a big fan of that. And that's why I sold it. What we also get in September, like if Star Trek wasn't enough, we get another Star Wars drop, Star Wars vehicles. So do we get the Millennium Falcon? I guess that's a given, right? If you get anything from Star Wars that's vehicle like, it should be a Millennium Falcon. Like that's the iconic one. That's what everyone wants. I suppose it's going to be an ultra rare. What else? Funny enough, they could even do like there's various editions of that ship possible. Yeah, there's more than just one Falcon. Like you could have the one from the newest movies, you could have the one from the original movies, and you could have the one from the Solo movie. Even if that movie wasn't so interesting, or let's say not as successful as the other ones, then you still have the Millennium Falcon that looks very different in that one because it still has pieces on it. So that would be also super interesting. So for sci-fi fans, September is going to be the month. I was actually looking at stuff that I can still buy, but with those drops coming, I might save up gems. And something I thought was a really interesting thing they said in the AMA is that Cummings will come to the showroom soon. Now we heard that before. That is not too interesting. We all expect that to happen at one point. There was a lot of stuff going on that they had to handle first. Everything fine. But the comics will have a case with all the metadata. So that is super great. That's something I like to hear. You have to think like this, like if you collect comics, you might know that these are in CGC or CBCS cases or whatever. There's some different companies too, but I guess the two biggest companies are CGC and CBCS. And these cases, they have the grade on there and additional info, like does it have white pages, is it signed, whatever, like all these data is on there. And I myself, I sold a lot of nice comics, like I mean the first ones. I had the Marvel Comics 1, I had Amazing Spider-Man 1, I had Fantastic Four 1. I sold all these off. I currently don't have those. And this is because I wanted to get better mints. I didn't want to have a 50,000 mint or whatever. So I sold them off and intend to buy them if I find a good deal, or even if I have to pay extra. But the idea was to upgrade my books, right? And this is because I think mints will be super important, and not just the low mints. I think there's some special mints in there that will be super important. And now that they say, we give you a case, so it looks like a CGC graded book, you can still use your book. That makes them even better than a CGC book. And on that case, you have the metadata. And I guess one of the most interesting things there will to have the mint. There was a project out there, they gave you the possibility to show your mint, and there was a ratio on it, the percentage of the mint. yada yada yada. I didn't like the project. I thought the idea wasn't great. So never used it. To each his own, I guess. But I didn't like it. But to have a case in VV as a collectible in the showroom that shows the mint number, that's awesome. Like, that is awesome. That is something I want to see. I guess we'll show the rarity, the mint number, release date, all the stuff. So I got a little bit distracted for a second. Yeah, but that's basically what I'm talking about, is that we have all the valuable information, what makes these pieces so valuable over time, and even now already valuable, is super great to see that we get this in a case in the showroom. And this is great. It's amazing. I actually thought about creating 3D cases myself to make it a kind of way to show them off. But the thing was, you couldn't show off in your showroom, right? So that will be super great. And the last thing they announced also on the AMA is there's idea that you could burn collectibles to get something like a secret rare or something called prototype. Now, we don't have any infos about it. Like, we already talked about it so much, how to burn collectibles to get some kind of use case, also burning collectibles. And now they announced that they're thinking about you burn a specific amount of commons, or you burn a specific amount of commons, uncommons, rares, and ultra rares, and then you could get a secret rare. Or if there's already secret rares, maybe you get something called prototype. But I think this is way too early to talk about that, because there's still so much in the air about that you don't have any idea what's actually going to happen, when it's going to happen. And I wouldn't do anything now. Like, if you go now and you buy up a lot of commons to make sure that when burning comes, you have a lot of commons available, that might never really happen. In the end of the day, at the end of the day, you might just need to have like 2 commons and 2 uncommons and 2 rares and 2 ultra rares. Then you're sitting on a lot of commons you don't really need. Also, I guess there will be a cap so that you don't have the situation that you have more secret rares than commons. So there is so many questions on that side of the aisle. So I have no idea what's going on with that. I guess it was an interesting announcement, but it doesn't really help. Like, there is no value in it as long as you don't have any boundaries on that statement. So yeah, that's about it. I guess.
Yes, guys, welcome to another.
I don't know what was that all about, but yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's basically it for this video. I will keep doing more videos, like drop specific videos. I don't do stuff like DCOn. Like, I don't do this anymore. I do the stuff I know a lot about. That is the comic stuff, the Disney stuff. I'm into that stuff, and I will talk about it a lot. And I talk about the VV news. But I'm not just talking about every drop. Like, if it's artist related, I usually stay out of it because I don't have no idea. I need to Google everything about it myself. So that's not what I'm doing. Anyways, if you like this video, please leave a like, because right now I haven't done videos in such a long time. The algorithm really doesn't like me anymore. So you need to like the videos. If you do subscribe, that would be super awesome. And if you want to, of course, share the video, but I know sharing is like almost too much to ask. So if you like the video and if you haven't subscribed, that would be super awesome. And yeah, I hope we see us soon again, and that you find all this info interesting. If you have any ideas, like, let me know your ideas. That's pretty interesting. I love to talk about it. Let me know your ideas about the Star Trek drop, the Star Wars drop, and especially what do you think about the metadata drop and that we get a case in the showroom for the comics. That would be interesting to know. And yeah, so much about that. See you guys next time. Bye bye.